Hello, everyone. How are you doing? It's another beautiful moment that we're in the chambers. The CJ Scott special. We did a story the other day, and I have another amazing guest in the chamber. The difference between this and the official CJ Scott is that the other one, we go out there in the open and we discuss issues with a panel, but then we get into the chambers and have a one on one talk with amazing guests like the one I have today. She is absolutely crazy on social media. She is controversial. She's got these many faces, but she's one amazing person that you get to meet. I'm talking about the host of the Sizzle on Hot. That is Annitah Raey. How are you doing,
Hi,
Annitah?
CJ. Why do you have a problem with my social media? Because
Because the things I meet there. I just wake up in the morning and I want to have a good day, a peaceful day. And then I will meet something so crazy. And I'm thinking, you had to wake up in the morning and do a post like that one?
because it made me happy. Like I stopped posting for people, so I post
Right.
for myself. And I see this meme, I'm like, Lord, I'm not laughing alone, and I'm sure there are a few crazy people who will want to laugh in the morning.
But Anita, most of your memes have a certain orientation.
They go south in the morning.
Yeah, they've got a certain orientation. And, anybody could think, is this all she thinks about?
I must start on Twitter, Anita. Is this the only thing you can talk about? I'm like, well, people comment and like them, so it means we're all thinking about it somehow. We're just ignoring it. So I want to remind you, hey, think about it more oftenly. It's a happy place.
Really?
Maybe it is. I don't know.
All right. But it's good to have you here.
Thank you so much,
And
CJ.
thanks for coming along.
Yes.
You are known for the Sizzle on Hot.
Yes.
And the times that we've done with you engage at some point.
Oh, yes, you
And
did.
you'd always come out as the most controversial person.
No, Willis would sometimes. It's
Willis
It's
would be
Big
the
Willie.
host. But you'd come out as the most controversial person. You express yourself very firmly, very
Yes, I do.
strongly. You don't think twice about what you're going to say. Have you always been like that?
I think so. I've been, some would say a bully maybe in high school. In high school, I was a bully, not maybe. I felt like I have to fight for my place, so I harassed other people to fight for my place. And also, I have a thing with power. It makes me feel nice. And
All right.
I'm a Taurus. I always look back, I think, to my birthday month. I'm a bull. Like, I always think everything's about fighting sometimes, or fighting for what I want, or fighting for my space. I think I grew up fighting for a lot of things, so I thought it's the normal way. But I'm not a bully somehow. I'm just affirmative. Like, what I say is what I say. I don't like taking it back. And you said I don't think twice. I think before I say it sometimes. I think. Then I don't want to say something I have to take back. That's why even on daybreak, before I said something, I used to want to be sure of what I'm saying.
Okay.
So no matter the backlash that comes from me saying something, I never feel bad because I said what I said and I can say it back again.
Let's just talk about your upbringing a bit.
Yes,
Because
yes.
why would you feel you needed to fight for everything? Is it that you were deprived? Is it that you're a middle child? Is
Yeah.
it that...
No.
Yeah.
I'm the firstborn, shockingly.
Okay.
Most people don't know that. They think I'm the last born. They think I'm spoiled. People have this idea about me, which I don't want to explain. I always feel like I don't owe you an explanation, so I never explain myself. But I'm the firstborn of 4 girls. I was born into, I always say it's a broken home because it is a broken home. And you see, when you're growing up, the things you see other kids having,
Right.
I never lacked material things, to be honest. I never lacked that. My dad gave us the best of education, to be very honest. My dad tried to compensate a lot because he was always working. So whatever you wanted and he could get you, he would get you.
All right.
But he was never there.
Okay.
That's the one thing I lacked. Secondly, coming from a broken relationship with my mom, a genuinely broken one, I lacked motherly love. So my entire life, I've been looking for that kind of love,
All right.
Like I attach very fast to someone who's a mother figure. So fast, I get attached so fast because I'm looking for a mother in a lot of people. And that's why even in most of my early relationships, I was looking for parents instead of looking for a partner. And you see, it's taken 30 years for me to understand that. I mean, Lord, I think I'm still understanding that. So I felt like I lacked somewhere to belong. I didn't have a place to belong at all. I think I was the most confused teenager growing up because I didn't know where I belong. You feel like you're not wanted at home. That's why I ran away from home a lot. I feel like I'm not wanted at home. I feel like I don't want to stay with relatives because I don't want to be a burden. So I was running around trying to find where I belong. And along the way, you adapt to surviving, which is a bad thing for a child because you grow up too fast.
Right.
So I always tell people, when you see me in a bouncing castle, leave me alone. I didn't enjoy this. So just, I don't want to grow up any more than I'm already grown up.
But have you come into this place? I know I need to get into another part of that story, but have you come into this place where you begin to accept yourself? I know that you celebrated your 30th birthday this
I didn't
year.
celebrate. We are going to redo it next year after Corona, but yes, I celebrated. Yes, I did.
It had to interfere with 30, which is very significant for you.
I know.
Yeah.
I think, CJ, in 29 years of my existence, let me not count this year, I was lost genuinely. And I kept trying to, since 2016, I kept doing therapy. But I was not being honest. I was doing therapy without being honest at all. I was giving my story, disassociating myself from it. I was giving my story like a storybook because I was so scared of being honest with myself. I was so scared of looking in the mirror and saying me for me. So I kept giving my story. And for me, when I'm broken, I ask people how they are.
Okay.
If I'm hurting, I'll check on everybody. If I can't sleep, if I'm low, I'll want to know how everybody is. Like all my friends wake up to messages at 2 a.m. over I love you and me being very emotional. They're like, look at this mad woman. It's 2 a.m. Annitah, are you okay? Please don't tell me you did anything stupid. I'm like, no, I'm up. And they're like, why do you do that? It's because I'm hurting. And sometimes I have a genuine problem saying I'm hurting because I don't want to be honest what's hurting.
Right.
So this year is when, before I turned 30, I decided I want to be honest with myself, for myself.
Okay.
And it has been the hardest thing because it's about realizing this person, I can be toxic, I can be bad for some people, I can be bad for myself. It's me accepting that I've been self-sabotaging for such a long time. I think it's normal. It's me accepting how broken I genuinely am and that only me can fix me. And it's me accepting that the closure I look for from people, I will never get.
And sometimes when you are, you talked about when you're broken, you're looking at other people.
Yeah.
When you are lonely, you're trying to make everybody be okay.
Yeah.
I've noticed as well, when you are sad, you make everybody laugh. You look for all the craziest memes.
True.
You've perfected this art. You've perfected the art of the cover up.
Yeah.
Like, so guys come and then they make judgment of you based on what you
The cover up
post.
is true.
And they get angry with you sometimes. They're so mad. They're thinking, what is that is going on with you? And then you hide in there.
I think the biggest lie I sell is me. I told my therapist that 2 months ago. The biggest lie I've ever sold has to be me. Because I have put a wall, then a wall beyond the wall.
Right.
That before you get to me, there are so many barriers you have to go through. You will never get there. I've made sure of that. I've made sure nobody can know how fragile I am or how sad I get or how lonely I get or the fact that I cry sometimes to sleep. I've made sure people don't know that I'm broken because I don't want anybody to look at me as broken. I don't want anybody to think I have maybe esteem issues on some days. I don't want someone to think I have confidence issues on some days. I always want to look strong because I've been made to believe maybe by myself, not even other people, that strong is the only way. I've been made to believe, CJ, that I can't break. I've forced myself to think that, And before I change that kind of affirmation, it's so hard, CJ. It's so hard. I couldn't even understand how hard it can be until I tried to tell myself I love myself and show myself that. Because you see, like, if I'm walking in town and see a hood, CJ, I don't think of me. I think of which of my friends it can fit.
Okay.
And I didn't know that's a problem. Instead of seeing nice shoes and like I should buy for myself, I'm either going to buy for my kids or for some. Never have I ever done that for myself. There's a day on Daybreak I told Willis, if someone told you to name the people you love or the things you love, how long would it take for you to put yourself? No, that was me.
Right.
I'm good at telling people how to love themselves, but I can't do that for myself. And it's such a difficult thing because I've been trying to do it for the last 3 months. God, I was telling people, loving yourself is harder than even loving people, Because you have to accept that sometimes you're a bad person. Who wants to be a bad person, CJ?
Right.
You have to accept, like the fact that I have put such a bad image. I like having a bad image so that people can get to me. I like people judging me because they don't know me. It doesn't bother me.
Right.
I always feel like it protects me, which is not true sometimes because I'm human.
And even as you talk about that, the people get to see this image.
Yeah.
I think sometimes because you're an influencer,
Yeah.
You've got a lot of people. You used to do the campus nights.
Yes, campus hangouts, yeah.
Yeah. And you'd have so many people then
Yeah.
who would want to be the Annitah you present, not knowing that you're presenting to them a dysfunction. Sometimes somebody's dysfunction can be made look to look very, very desirable.
I know.
Like I could be having perfect eyes, and then I see you in specs and begin to desire that. Yet the specs were supposed to fix a
A
problem.
problem I have with my eyes, right?
And sometimes we present our brokenness in such a way that somebody desires it, not knowing that you're dealing with something else. But let's talk about your kids because you've mentioned them.
Oh yes, my kids. That has to be the only good thing in life I did, I think, at some point,
You got married when you were very young.
17. Why?
Were you married? Did you just go in? Was it just, an arrangement like?
I knew him for 7 days. I have to be the most hopeless romantic person in the world. I laughed once when someone said, "Alipatana mtu kwa kisiagi akaolewa." I was like, I'm not laughing at you. I see myself in you.
Right.
Because I met him. I was trying to run away from home after high school. I was like, I am so done with this house. I would literally, and before that I had become a house help when I was like in Form 2, so that I can run away from home. So once my dad was
Annitah Raey as a house help?
oh yes, I was a house help. My God, not even once, 3 times, 3 different houses. I'm telling you, CJ, I have seen it all. And I was what, 14? Yeah, you can imagine. So 17, my dad was
I can try to imagine you being a house help somewhere. You take over the house. You'll be the one giving the orders.
No, I have not always been this bold. Then, I was really trying to get away from home. And I felt like this is the only option. I'd rather get a job, work for somebody, make ends meet one way or the other. And at least to get a house to live in, right? Because the first time I ran away from home, I was sleeping on the streets.
Okay.
So I felt that was a good avenue. So my dad told me, my dad was like, once you finish Form 4, whatever you want, please, just finish Form 4. So when I finished Form 4, I could barely even talk with my mom. We were at each other's neck, literally almost trying to kill each other. So I really wanted a way out. And this is someone I knew when I was in high school, but I never got to talk to them. He was called Brigadier. He was such a bully. They nicknamed him that. And he was 10 years older than me. So when I met him after festivities of Christmas, we met, and for exactly 7 days, he asked me if I can live with him. And I said yes. I was like, Lord, thank you. This might be you or might not be you, And I said yes. I was like, I'm a very daring person and adventurous. I was like, this is better than having to go back to my mom's place.
Okay.
In my mind, I was like, I can start my own life, right? I can start my own house. I can have my own house, CJ. Like, I don't have to answer to anybody other than him. Right. And for me, I felt like it was a win. I was like, why not? Let me get married. But shockingly, see, he's 27 years older than me. He has a drinking problem. He's a very aggressive person. We got married in December 31st, 2007. And by May 2008, he was beating me up. And he started with a slap. People say these things as a joke. CJ, I swear, all these marks, like literally, I have like 1,000,001 of them. I used to get beaten so bad I will end up in hospital, and I never told anybody.
Did you feel that you were responsible for his action?
He made me feel responsible. I'm 17, I'm 18. He got angry when I asked him. The first beating was, where are you coming from? I've not seen you for 2 days. I mean, we're married, right? You should come home. And he beat me up so bad. And weirdly, as much as me and my mom didn't get along, that's the first person I called. Because I was genuinely scared. My dad has never hit me. So I was genuinely scared. Like, what should I do? And my mom said, mtu ni kuvumilia. Unavumilia ndoa. Unafikiri ndoa ni mchezo. So I was there like, okay, Annitah, vumilia ndoa. So it went on, like literally went on. It became worse. So I learned, if I ask, I get beaten. So let me not ask. Okay. That's a better way, right? And the worst thing, both of us used to drink a lot, CJ, a lot. Like, drinking was the part-time thing we did other than being married.
But you were 17.
I was drinking even in high school, CJ. Age has nothing to do with it.
All right.
Yes. So, your reaction. So, it became really abusive at some point. Then I got pregnant. And I think one of the hardest periods was when I was pregnant with my son, because I got pregnant end of 2008. And he was still beating me when I'm pregnant. It got really bad. I was like, no, I can't do this. So I decided I want to go back home. And my mom said, no way, you're not coming to my house. You decided you want to be a wife. Go be a wife, No. So I was like, okay, CJ, I felt like I failed at being a daughter. I failed my dad because he really wanted me to go to school. So I'm not going to fail at marriage. One way or the other, this marriage is going to work, CJ. And I promised myself, I don't care how many times he beats me. I don't care how many times he cheats. I don't care how many times he does not come home. This is working anyway.
All right.
So I decided I'm not going to tell anybody what happens in my marriage, other than my neighbors who maybe we would fight and they would have to take me to hospital or things like that. I told nobody else, even in his side of the family, nobody. I took it in, I had my son. He changed a while after I had my son. I had my son September 2009. He changed for a while. I was like, so kids do change people. Then I was like, don't hold your breath. No, he's going to go back to being him. He went back to being him. I remember then it's when I was really broken. That's when I started, I think, sinking into depression because you're doing everything and I'm a housewife. CJ, I've not gone to college. I don't have an education. I have nothing. And it's when you realize this man is going to beat me for the rest of my life if I don't do something about it. So I went, my friend introduced me to Bridge International Academies. They had just landed in Kenya and they were looking to train people to help them market and network for their schools and everything. I took it in. Weirdly, I went for training for 3 months and I was number one in the class. They gave me a job.
Wow.
Now that's 2010. When I got the job, CJ, things went south. He was like, you're not going to work in my house at all. And now that's when I decided, you're also not going to beat me up, so let's fight, okay? So, like, it's not going to be you beating me up. And I tell people that was one of the worst decisions I ever made because he came home one day and I told him, you're not going to hit me, I'm going to fight back. And we fought so bad the cops were called. I was like, you will never beat me up again. If you hit me, I hit you. Let's kill each other then. You're going to die. And that went south so fast, CJ, because we started really fighting now. Not even him beating me up. Really fighting. It went so bad, so bad. This time, this is a bad story. I give it and then I laugh. I bit his finger so bad we had to go to hospital. And the doctor asked me, Lukuma, he was like, Tukona dogi mpya. I laughed. I was like, that's funny. You don't interest. And the doctor said, umbo itakumaliza next time. Because these are human teeth, I'm sure. And I'm just there like, me, I don't even know what happened. So it was really bad, you know. Okay. But for us, it was a comfort zone. Nobody wants to leave the other.
I was going to ask you that because it's said sometimes that the abused get so attached to the abuser.
Yeah.
This becomes your normal.
Yeah.
You do not know how to dissociate from it. You do not know how to disconnect from that. So you'd rather be in the chaos
and live
than be somewhere else. You're afraid of getting into order. You're afraid of coming into anything that is not dysfunctional.
Because, CJ, before a man beats you physically, he beats you mentally.
Right.
That's the one thing people miss. Before a man breaks you physically, he's broken you mentally. Not even a man, before anybody gets to physically abuse someone else, they have broken you so bad mentally. For me, it was the fact that your parents didn't love you, I have loved you. Who else is going to love you? Annitah, who else is going to? Your parents didn't love you at 17. I have loved you. I have taken you in. I have given you a life. Who do you think is going to love you with a kid now? I mean, who's going to love you with a kid? You know, and it gets so much to you. You see the problem about human beings. The more you hear something, the more it becomes your reality. It becomes your truth.
Right.
It becomes your religion. I'm not pretty, CJ. It took me years to ever wear a dress because I couldn't believe I'm pretty. Even sometimes people tell me I'm pretty. I'm like, huh? I'm like, it always sometimes catches me off guard. It still takes a lot for me to understand that statement coming from someone.
Right.
And people don't understand how much those things damage you.
Yeah.
And for me, I used to wonder, where do I start when I leave? CJ, where do I go? I can go back home. I have a child. I have never been alone. Whether I'm running away from home, I'm always under someone. So I'm leaving a marriage to go where? To go under. I don't know. I don't think I can be on my own. That was my biggest fear. And then I was like, we were living, and we still live in a society of where when you leave your marriage, hey, the labels you get. Hey, they don't even ask what went wrong or who was wrong. The woman is always wrong. The woman is the one who couldn't keep a man. And I'm like, I really didn't want to put that on my head. And one thing I was dreading more than death itself is my mom saying, you have failed in marriage. I was like, I'm going to die in this marriage before my mother says that, you know. By the time I decided to leave CJ, I always tell people, I never left because he beat me. That is something I should be sad about, right? Because I would not have left for that. Right. I never left because he cheated. I never left for that. And I never left because it was toxic. I left because I would have killed him, literally. I became such an angry person. Such an angry person.
Right.
And I used to snap at. There's a day I threw every single glass at him. He was so shocked. He was like, okay, this one is going to kill me for real. Because I was so angry. I was like, you can't keep breaking me this bad. It's wrong. It's just wrong. And we have a child. My son is 1 year and a half. I'm trying to raise a kid. You can't keep doing things to me. And I was so angry. And I realized that one day at night, at 1 a.m., I think, he came home so drunk and he started insulting me and saying I can't stay in his house without talking to him, and he became really violent. I swear, CJ, I looked at him and was like, I can stab this man so many times, I'm going to land in jail. And I just left. At night, I didn't even carry my child. I left alone. And I was like, I can't stay here. Like, I can't. There has to be a different way to this. There has to be a better way to this. And I just left. And I went back for my baby a month later. I didn't tell anybody, CJ. I told nobody other than my auntie. I went to my auntie's. And she couldn't even ask me where I have gotten to a house at 3 a.m. in the morning. And I'm not even crying. I was just indifferent. I was just tired. I was like, you know what? I can't do this.
But talk about how that would affect your parenting at that particular point. Because you have a baby.
Yeah.
You're this angry woman.
Yeah.
You have no affection coming from the man who is supposed to be your husband and the father of the child. You have no other place to run to. And normally you cannot give what you don't have.
That's true.
So you don't have love and affection, and there's a baby looking up to you at this particular point. How are you relating to the baby then?
I don't know. I tried to understand how he pulled through that. I have no idea. Because I don't like sharing this story, CJ. Because, see, I'm a child with a child, and a lot of people ask me, even my own dad says I love my son more than my daughter. I'm like, I went through so much with that boy. So much, including sleeping at the neighbors, I went through so much, CJ, like so much with my son. And I don't understand. Like, I used to tell people, I used to promise myself that when I enter that house, it's just Andre.
Okay.
Like, it doesn't matter how bad things were outside the house or how crazy the dad is going to come and be. I protected my son from all that with my life, like literally my life. I would have hated for him to ever... I remember my son's first birthday, the dad wasn't there. And he was still married, right? And he said he doesn't feel like doing the birthday for a kid. He was like, anafanyiwa birthday calling. He was like, it's his first birthday. I threw that party alone and he didn't come. And at night he called me drunk. I was like, don't step into this house drunk. It was your son's birthday. And I don't want him to have any, even slightest bad experience today. It's his birthday. Can you please stay away? I don't want to know where you're going to go. Just don't come this weekend. You always disappear. Please do the disappearing act this weekend. We're going to see you after the birthday. And I shielded that boy from so much. CJ, I still do. My son asks me difficult questions. He's 11. He's going to ask me things, And I lie. I lie, literally. Not because I want to protect the dad, because I don't want him to have bad memories of his childhood. I remember the worst memory has to be after we left and I took my son. The father said if I move far away, he won't be taking care of the son. So he wanted me to move near where he is. God is such a narcissist. So I was living like literally 10 minutes from him. And one day my son got sick. At night he had such a fever and we had to take him to hospital. And I called the dad, hey, can you come and drive us to hospital? He was like, that is your child. Don't wake me up at night. I walked in such a risky place and my neighbor felt so guilty. So two of my neighbors were like, we'll walk with you at 2 a.m. And we went to hospital. And I asked God, I hope I don't have to go through this again. And the hardest part was that at some point I had to give up my son. Because one, I'm jobless. Two, I was going through such a hard time, CJ. I didn't know where I was, what I was doing. I was not even capable of raising myself. Right. And the hardest choice I have ever made, I don't regret it, honestly. I've never regretted it, but it was the hardest choice, was me choosing for my ex-husband to raise my son.
Okay.
I tell people I've made choices, I swear to God, hard ones, but that one was the hardest because it was me deciding he deserves a good life. He deserves a stable home. He deserves sanity. As you said, he doesn't need to see the negative side of life just because I'm going through something. Yeah. So I sat down, the dad, I was like, we took each other to court. I didn't have a stable job. I was like, you know what, why are we fighting? Because no matter how bad things ever get between us, this is our child, both of us. Right. So you want to raise the boy, yeah? Are you going to give him a good life? Yeah, then take him. And I took him myself. Everybody thought I was crazy. They were like, you can give up your son. I was like, what's better, CJ? Having him sleep hungry or having him see me maybe drunk or angry or bitter or him being in a good home and I get to see him, It was a genuine choice I made, a difficult one, but up to date, he's 11 years old, still stays with the dad. I don't regret it at all.
You're happy about that?
Yeah.
Well, I've noticed something. And if you're watching, please subscribe. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please go ahead and subscribe right there. Leave your comments in the comment section. I know there are several of you who would be connecting with what Annitah is saying. There's some people who have been surrounded by enablers, or sometimes you just don't know how to get off something that is very difficult for you to do like that. I know a lot of ladies would connect. But, Annitah, you always come out as somebody who defends men, yet, and attacks the ladies, yet your experience is supposed to cause you to go the other direction. Because of your experience with a man, you should have been a hater of men. You should be out over there, in every group, every blog, attacking men and hitting men. But mostly, you put a lot of weight on the women. Is it your way of defending yourself again? Protecting yourself?
I'm gonna cry, CJ. You want me to cry? I think, let me be honest, CJ. My last experience was not my ex-husband. That one I can live with. My last experience was my rape experience. The other day, someone asked me to open up about it. I was like, I can't. I can't. I spend years looking for those people in my mind. Like I used to see them everywhere sometimes. I spent years drinking, trying to forget that a man once broke me that bad, But then I tell people my soft spot is my son and my dad. And we live in a society where, CJ, my issues aside, I can't use my own personal experience to judge every other man. And the reason I stopped doing that in 2012, I met such an amazing person. And I hope he watches this because he's never talked to me. And he was willing to love me so much. And he was willing to do anything to fix me. Tried to get me to hospital, CJ. He did everything, and I mean everything in this world, because he felt he could fix me. And I could not be fixed by anyone other than myself. So in the process of fixing me, he broke himself so bad because he couldn't fix me. And that now ended up messing me up in so many bad ways because I felt guilty. I always have guilt issues. Like, I feel guilty for such a long time. So it took me forever to forgive myself for breaking that man's heart. And I used to feel bad that I couldn't be who he wanted me to be. All this because I was hurt. All this because I had past experiences. And I learned a very hard lesson. I think it's 2013 when he said he will never talk to me again. I learned that you can't put out your anger or frustrations for another situation onto other people. That's wrong. You can't blame you can't put a person's mistakes on other people, CJ, because people are different. I'm also bad in a lot of people's stories. Yeah. Doesn't mean, CJ, you will treat me badly because I'm bad in another story. You don't. And the reason I fight for men a lot, is because nobody does. Nobody does. I have brothers, I have friends, I have cousins, I have close friends who have been broken in ways you can't even understand. CJ, when a man breaks, is not when a woman breaks. Men break harder, deeper. It's difficult to pull men out when they break. So, and we live in a generation where we've decided women are victims of everything. Women are victims of their even own problems. We don't have accountability in this generation. So instead of being accountable for your mistakes, you play victim. That's why I support men. That's why I like telling. I don't bash women. I tell them the truth. Stop putting all your problems on men. Own up. Be accountable. Don't always be the victims. If I'm wrong, CJ. I don't want to be a victim. I want to be accountable. But our generation of women, they are too empowered, they're too entitled, and they will never be accountable. Everything wrong in their life, CJ, it's all about men, not them. Even when they fail at being parents, they put it on the men. Oh, I'm a bad single mom because the man is not there. How again? Really, No. We need to have accountability, CJ. So I'm not bashing them. I'm just being honest.
I'm going to come back into some of the stuff that you do because we're just about to close. But I'm just going to go back into some of the stuff that you do, some of the stuff that you write. You do a lot of explicit content. I don't know when I have woken up in the morning and not found a meme that has to do with intimacy somewhere along the line. I just don't know. Was that a drag for you? As in the memes, was that a drag?
No, when you ask me this, CJ, I can't answer you because I think it's CJ. No, I have to make my answer. I don't know. For me, I don't know. Okay, my boss said I have a superpower of making people uncomfortable. And I like my superpower. I like having uncomfortable conversations. Because, CJ, mark my words, if today, I swear, I tweeted, good example, about International Youth Day, right? Nobody's going to care about that. Wait until I went into intimacy. Everybody's there. You get? I don't go out of the way. I give people, I'm just bold enough to say what people can say. Because people are thinking about it. I swear, CJ, look at my memes. One about, yo, God, this is a good day. What will happen here? They're just going to assume me like, hey, Annitah, you don't have content today. They're going to think that, you get. Wait until I just put a funny meme about men and women. They're going to be there like, you get. I think one thing I've learned how to tap into people's emotions. It's a superpower of making people very uncomfortable. And when you see that meme, you'll hide it, you'll feel awkward, but you're going to look at it later. So, hey.
If you were to sit with the 17-year-old Annitah, what would you tell him?
You need to listen. I think the problem with the 17-year-old, you need to, first of all, learn how to talk, communicate, and listen. If I had said a lot of things then, if I had been honest with my parents then, if I had put my foot down and said, this is what I think, I would not have walked down that path, 100% sure. But I would tell that girl, you need to listen, first of all, because I never listened, and you need genuinely to communicate. That was the two biggest problems I had.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Annitah, for coming around.
You're welcome, CJ.
It wasn't as bad as you thought in the beginning. You held yourself through.
Yes, I did.
all
Yes,
this.
I did. Yeah.
Well, everybody has their story, until you meet the person, you never get to know the person. So you sometimes can form your opinion on people based on what you see, what they project, what other people do project as well. But until you get to meet them, you will never really know them. I'm so glad that we had Annitah Raey right here on CJ's Court Special in the Chambers. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, CJ Atemo, and leave some comments right there. We'll be getting back to you over those comments. And also let us know whom you would want to see on this channel. Till the next time, keep it right here. I'm CJ Atemo.